Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. So today we're going to be making some cutting boards, and I'm going to be using some, I'll pan down here in a minute and show you exactly what I got set up here, but we're going to be using some Artworks resin today, and I know I got it in one of these little containers here, but this is some teal pigment by, I believe it's Caster's Choice. I think that's the only ones I've been able to find so far that have the right color teal that I'm looking for. But I'm going to go ahead and mix some of this up, and whenever I come back, I'll show you what I got set up here in front of me and explain how the setup works. Alright, so here's the second 24. Alright, we're going to mix up some more and or scrape out this thing and mix up another 24, and we'll be right back. Alright, here we are again with another 24. We're going to go ahead and scrape that out again and mix up the rest. Hopefully another 24 will finish this off. So I was unaware of how quickly this cured. So yeah, so I got a couple of swirls in there. Got some bubbles, which I'm going to have to take down with the sand whenever I sand and plane, but I needed to plane anyway because there's a little bit of a lip here. Still kind of tacky, but this is pretty solid. So, and I only poured this maybe a little over an hour ago. So, we'll see how this goes. Hey everyone, I wanted to apologize because I realized whenever I started editing these that some of the files ended up corrupted, so you didn't get everything that I had recorded, so I needed to go back and add a few things. So we ended up using 4 24-ounce cups of resin, so that ended up being 96 ounces of resin you see here. Now what you got here is I've got some walnut that I had cut in half. It was live edge. I cleaned up as much as I could get off of there. I put it in this mold I made. Now the mold is what they call melamine, which is basically the stuff that they make shelving units out of. As you can see, it's just particle board with a laminated surface, and I lined the inside with some Tyvek tape. Tyvek tape you can get at like Lowe's and Home Depot. And then I sprayed the inside out with some Stoner mold release. Now, as I said right before I started this video, this is pretty solid. And like I said, I probably poured this maybe 2 hours ago. Alright everyone, so as you can see, this is pretty cured up. So we're going to get it out of the mold, and then we'll start running it through the planer. So as you can see, I got it out, and there's a lot of planing that needs to be done. And just so I don't bore you guys, I'll run it through a couple of times through time lapse, and then I'll come back when I'm done planing it down. Alright guys, so I got this planed down about as much as, or as flat as I can get it. I'm going to break out my chop saw and square it off, and then I'm debating on how I run around the corners. But yeah, so I got a couple things I got to clean up here, but as of right now, this thing is just under 1.25 inches thick. I'll be back as soon as I get all this cleaned up. Hey everybody, since I got the table saw out now, we'll go ahead and try and get this to where all the sides are straight. And while I got this out, I've seen somebody do this trick to where they angled the saw blade and they took the corners down instead of routing them. I'm gonna give that a try. Alright everybody, so we'll go back to the table saw after I use the chop saw to straighten these out. The table saw wasn't working the way I had hoped it would, so. Alright guys, so I got the all set up at an angle. We're gonna go ahead and try and take some of these down a little bit. Alright, as you can see, it kind of rounded it off. So now, one thing I got left to do is sand it down. Hey everybody, again, I apologize. I'm limited on my room that I have here on this table. But I decided what I'm going to do is, I'm only putting a layer of the Artworks resin on here simply to fill in some of the cracks and crevices and stuff like that that I couldn't fill in before. So after this dries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix this while I'm talking to you guys if I can do both. But I'm using the Artworks resin for this, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio resin. I'm going to mix up about 10 ounces, I think. Okay, 15. I should really do this while it's sitting down. But so what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed up. I'm going to put it on the I guess 20. Sorry guys, I can't do two things at one time, it looks like. Alright, so sorry about that. Got 20 ounces there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it over some of the cracks and crevices that are in here, and whenever this dries, I'll go ahead and resand everything, and then I'll do the coating with the butcher block oil. So bear with me while I get this mixed up and find something to spread it out with. Alright, got something to spread it with. Isn't time-lapse great? Alright guys, so I hit this with my torch a couple of times just to make sure that it doesn't bubble. And I may do one more coat after that. We'll after that I'll go out and sand it, and then we'll do the coating of the butcher block oil. So I'll come back after I'm done with this. Alright everybody, so this thing has been planed. I got the edges down with the table saw, and filled in a couple of cracks and crevices that were left over. So now there's a ton of sanding. So I'm not going to bore you with all the sanding. I'll get started on it, and then we'll come back after I'm done. So that was 80 grit. We're going to go up through 400 grit. I still got a little more I need to touch up here with the 80. But I'm not going to bore you guys, so I'll come back when I'm done sanding. Alright everybody, so tried to fill in some of the cracks and crevices before I started sanding. Didn't work. So since I went with some Artworks resin to make this thing, we're going to clean it up with some denatured alcohol and After that dries, we're gonna go put a thin, very thin layer of Artworks resin on there and see what happens. But I want to see how this thing looks first, so I can figure out what's going to be the top and what's going to be the bottom. That's the one side, and that's the other. So I kind of want to do this side as the top because there's more wood, but kind of like the bottom better. So I'll clean out some of these little holes here, and we'll go and put a layer of Artworks resin on there and go from there. Hey everybody, so I'm trying to get back to doing some of these projects that I started videos for, and they just went to the side and have been sitting. So today, which if you've seen it this far in the video, you know exactly what I'm working on, but I've been working on this thing for over a year now. It's sat in my garage collecting dust, so I figured it was about time to finish this bad boy up. So we're going to be sanding this because the last steps I have is to sand it and coat it and put the feet on it, and this thing is done. Now, just to give you guys a glimpse of what's prompting me to finish this thing up, if you guys follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you've seen me working on this. But this is my first table. I may actually make a round charcuterie board, maybe this size at some point, but it's going to be expensive, guys. But I need to sand this and finish it up, so I figured we come back to this thing and finish it up. So I'm going to sand this up to about 400 with my orbital sander. I'm not going to bore you guys with the with me sanding it and everything, but I'll come back after I'm done sanding it. But just to give you an idea, this is the before sanding, and when I come back it'll be the after. Alright everybody, so I've sanded it up to about 400. Looking at it, there's still a couple pits here that I wasn't able to fill in with resin or with some CA glue. So I'm just going to try and clean this up a little bit and see which side looks better. So we're going to use some denatured alcohol. I like the way the resin looks on this side, but there's a bunch of little pits. Well, this was originally going to be a cutting board, serving board. I'm not sure now. I may end up doing a flood coat on this just to hopefully get some of these bubbles out, but we'll come back soon as I figure out what I'm wanting to actually do with this thing. Hey everybody, I forgot to record this, but I'm out here trying to finish up this cutting board and a couple of other ones that I'm doing. But I took a quarter and I marked off the corners here, or I took a quarter and marked off the corners. Okay, I think I said that right. And took them to the sander and rounded off the edges here. We're on the router table right now. I'm going to router off the edges here so they're not so sharp, and then whenever we come back, I'll come back after I router it, show you guys what it looks like, and then we're going to go to sanding, and I'll come back whenever I'm ready to start sanding. Alright guys, I know you don't want to watch me sand, but I got this sanded up to about 80 grit. I've got let me find the camera here again. I got a couple of pits. I'm going to fill those in with CA after I wipe this down with denatured alcohol. I got a couple more on the back. I'm going to fill all these in. And then I've got a couple more that I'm sanding here, so I'll come back after that dries and I get this sanded up to about, I don't know, 400 maybe. So I'll see you then. Alright everybody, got this sanded down to about 400, and I'm going to wipe it down with some denatured alcohol. I know there's still a couple more pits in here that didn't get filled in. I'm hoping that if I do a thin resin for a flood coat that I'll be able to get it to go down into some of these pits. I'm still trying to figure out which side I want to be the top and which side I want to be the bottom though. I like the pattern on the other side, but I like the grain on this side. So I think this is going to be the top. And whenever I come back, this will be on a couple of stands. I've got a couple of these that I'm going to be doing flood coats on, but we'll do, these will be on stands on some paper on the ground, and we'll go ahead and get this thing set up. I'll have painter's tape on the bottom, and yeah, so we'll come back then. All right, everybody. So first and foremost, I'm gonna have to readjust the camera here in a minute, but found out Danish oil is food safe when dry. So since I don't need this or this one for a while, and I had to pop it open because I couldn't get the lid off. I'm gonna give that a try on here and see how that looks. If it works well on this, I may use it on the murder board, which I'm working on at the same time as I'm finishing this one. So I don't know which one of these two videos will go up first, but I'm gonna put some Danish oil on here and see, one, if that'll fill in some of these cracks and crevices. But I do have the tape on there and everything else like that, so I wholeheartely intended to do a flood coat on there. Now, as I said, I had to pop this open with the can opener. There's a little bit left in there, but I got it in one of these, which I know you've seen me use these a couple of times in the past for some other stuff. But yeah, let's pour some on here and see how it turns out. That looks really good. Now, if this thing actually dries and looks like this whenever it's dry, that's just phenomenal looking to me. So we're gonna go ahead and let this one dry, and we're gonna move on to the next one, which is another video. All right, everybody, I don't know if you can see this or not, but needs a little bit of touch-ups, like right along here where it looks like the Danish oil didn't soak in so much. So I'm going to do another coat on here on both the top and the bottom, and since we're inside, hopefully this will dry faster. So here within the next couple of days I should be able to put the feet on this one. But I'll come back after I put the another coat of Danish oil on there and show you what it's looking like. Hey guys, I didn't want to bore you guys with me resanding and refinishing this thing over and over again, so I waited till it was done. And as you can see in the shadow, there's a couple of marks still on there, but looking at it, that's might just need to buff this out a little bit. But anyway, now I'm ready to put the feet on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure in about 3/4 of an inch, and then I'll punch the holes. Then I'll take the then I'll screw in the feet. So I got these. I'll put a link in the description as to where I got these. Each pack's like, I think, 12 bucks off Amazon, and you get enough to make 3 cutting boards with 4 feet on each. This one, because where this is going to go, I'm hoping this works. I found a drill bit that is about the size of the screws, so I'm going to screw or drill into it on the resin, and whenever I get ready to screw in the screw, I'll put a little bit of CA glue down into the hole as well. I'm not going to bore you guys with all that. but I just wanted to give you guys what I'm doing with it, and I'll come back after I get everything screwed in. All right, guys, there you go. Don't like making cutting boards, don't like sanding, but yeah, I think this one turned out pretty good. Been working on this for a couple of years now, so just happy to be finished with it finally. Yeah, so if you liked, if you watched the video this far and you like what you saw, if you didn't like what you saw, share the video, comment on it. If you comment on it, tell me if you know of a better way of sanding these things down than with an orbital sander, because I got a few of these that I need to finish up, and I don't know if I'll be making more of them after that. At least most of the ones that I'm making are wood, other than the murder board, which I don't know if it'll be up before this one or not, but if not, next week's murder board, if it wasn't the week before this one. But yeah, sad thing is I actually do like making these, I just hate the sanding part. So but yeah, if you guys want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button down on the bottom, and then on the other side hit the bell. YouTube will let you know whenever I post a new video. We are close to 300 subscribers right now, so if we hit the 500 mark, I'm going to do a giveaway. Yeah, so for those of you who have already subscribed, thanks, it means a lot, and have a good one.